Shalom Aleichem, everybody. Hope everything's going well. Today I want to talk to you about the power of the shofar. The shofar is the ram's horn that we blow on the holiday of Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year. And I read an interesting commentary based off Kabbalah, Kabbalistic description from Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, where it says that the power of the shofar is that it breaks the klipa. The klipa is the impurity, the negative forces, the things that try to stop us from connecting to Hashem. You know, when we're having a good moment, there's like this negative aspect that always tries to take us away from this connection we have to Hashem. So the shofar, it says it breaks the klipa like a piece of iron breaks pottery. So you imagine you have a big bowl made out of clay or pottery, like a porcelain, and then you take a nice piece of a rod of iron and you smack it, it completely breaks it. So that's the power of the shofar. And I heard another beautiful story about the shofar, is that it represents our crying out to the Creator. So I'll give you an example. The story goes like this. You have a son, a prince, whose father's a king. He's the future, he's going to be like, the father wants to prepare him for when he's going to be like really a high-ranking member of the kingdom. So what does he do? He sends him out of the kingdom. He wants to send him out of the kingdom into the other nations, so he could learn about the culture of the other nations, and then have a great understanding of how the other nations work, so he can have a great influence on them and really bring the empire to even greater heights. But what happens is this boy, he gets a little too caught up in the culture, gets a little too caught up in the other nations' cultures, and he decides, he doesn't want to go back. He's supposed to go for a little bit of time and whatnot, but he stays longer and longer and longer until he starts to really get affected by the cultures of the other nations, until the point where he even starts forgetting the language that his father raised him in, and he starts to develop like an accent in his mother tongue. What happens is one day he out of nowhere remembers that, hey, I'm the prince, I'm the son of the king, and he has a yearning to go back to his father, the king. So he decides to go back to the kingdom. But when he enters the kingdom, the guards say, hey, stop right there. You're not allowed to enter. Who are you? This is the king's palace. He goes, I'm the son of the king. What do you mean? I'm the son of the king. Let me in. He goes, yeah, you're the son of the king. You have an accent. You can't even really speak the king's language. You know how many people come to us saying they're the king's son? He goes, oh, please let me in. They go, try again later. So he starts to let out a big cry. He starts bawling. He starts bawling, loud. Until finally the king hears. He goes, hey, that's my son's cry. And then he walks out to the front of the palace. He goes, guards, let him in. That's my son. And what does that represent? That's the shofar. Our neshama comes down into this world. We are the sons and the daughters of the king, of Hashem. And Hashem sends us down into this world. Why? To allow us to get to even greater heights. But sometimes the neshama gets a little bit caught up in this world, gets a little bit affected by the body, starts to think it is meant to be in this world all along. Until comes Rosh Hashanah, we remember, hey, we're the sons and daughters of the king. We're the princes and princesses, the children of the king. And even though the angels and the forces start to say, the heavenly forces start to say, hey, you don't belong here. You're physical. You're a body. You're impure. What happens? We let out a massive cry. And no matter how far we think we've came from Hashem, the cry goes right through and Hashem says, hey, let them in. They're my children. And that is the power of the shofar. And the shofar, to add a little more detail, the shofar, when you blow the shofar, you have to blow from the inner part. It represents, it's not like speech where it's coming from the outer part. You have to blow with all your might. That's like us. We're calling out to Hashem with all of our might. Heard another beautiful description of the shofar. It's like the trumpet, when the king and queen or of a country come in, the people all play the trumpet. And so that's like in our way of treating them. And I always had a personal viewing on what the shofar is like. I always saw it as like an emergency siren. We're like calling out to Hashem. We're saying, Hashem, this is a state of emergency. Send us the Mashiach. Take us out of here. It's like, one day, with Hashem's help, I'll learn how to blow the shofar and I'll be able to blow it for you guys. Bezrat Hashem soon. But I always got this feeling of it's an emergency state. The last thing I'll say on the shofar is when Abraham was tested by God and told to sacrifice his son Isaac, and after Abraham passed the test and he was willing to sacrifice Isaac, Hashem sent the angels to say, don't lay a hand on Isaac, you passed the test. And what happened? A ram was caught by the horn in the bushes, and then Abraham knew that, okay, Hashem sent him the ram to sacrifice. And it says that very ram that was sent to Abraham, that horn is the horn that's going to be blown in the times when our Mashiach comes to redeem us. May it be today. So I hope you enjoyed this video. The New Year's coming. Shabbos is coming up in tomorrow night. So have an amazing, amazing Shabbos. And I wish you bracha v'atzlacha, blessings and success.